Well, my name is LaRue C, but I go by LaRue C, and I'm 28, so old, and I'm a military brat, so I'm from everywhere. Recently moved to Atlanta this April. Being a military brat, it's kind of like you grow up in this super strict household, or that's what people think. But my parents were strict, but they let me be me with reservation. Like, my whole family is creative. Like, everybody sings or dances, sews, everybody cooks. My entire family's from Louisiana. So that's where all the good food is, okay? So it's super artistic household and family as a whole. But for me, I always felt different. Like, I never felt like I was a member of my family. Have you ever heard the term latchkey kid? So a latchkey kid is a kid whose parents are always working. So they give you a key, and when you get home, like, you let yourself into the house, you take care of yourself until they get there to continue taking care of you. So I had to grow up fast, but I made sure that I was always a kid. Like, I was always in trouble at home. Like, why'd you do this? Why'd you do that? But I was always really good in school. So I moved into cooking as my art from that. So my mom was like, she's like, you're an amazing cook. And she's like, super positive. She's like, you're an amazing cook. You know, you're super artistic. Just do what you want. I'm going to support you no matter what. But I wanted to be an artist. But I didn't really know what I wanted to be. I just wanted to get out of school because I felt weird and awkward. Like, the me now, 10 years ago.
So what changed? What?
I came out. I came out my sophomore year in college, and I was just telling my coworker this. So my coming out story is not like super emotional or like dramatic. I was drunk and I texted my mom. Like, it was me and my best friend in college. I was like, I'm going to do it, yes. And she was like, go for it.
Wait, what did the text messages, what did it say? What did it look like?
Mom, comma, I'm bi, period.
How did your dad react?
Okay. So my mom told me not to tell my dad. Okay, she was like, don't tell him. Before we go to your cousin's graduation, you know, we'll sit down, talk to him, see how he feels, all that stuff. I was like, okay, cool. So we're having this sit down. It's like super intense. They set up a chair in front of the couch. So I sit in that chair. My parents are sitting on the couch. My dad's like, why are we here? My mom's like, your son has something to tell you. And so remember, I told my mom that I was bi. Well, when we sat down, I was like, I'm gay. And my mom's like, wait, you told me that you were bi. I was like, well, that was then. This is now. Because when I said that, like, I was still trying to date girls, but I knew I had these feelings for guys. Eventually, it was just like, I mean, you're pretty, but we can't do nothing together.
Yeah. How long did that take?
About like a week and a half. It was like, nope. So I say it. I'm like, I'm gay. And my dad's like, I know. Yeah, I'm like, I've been new. And my mom's like, you knew? And why didn't you tell me? He was like, I thought you knew. And I'm like, can I go? My mom would tell me, which she still tells me this to this day, that she loves me. She will always love me. But she doesn't believe that. Well, at first it was she didn't believe that I was really gay. And then it went to, well, that's not what I want for you. Or that's not right. That's not of the Lord, you know. You know what it says in the Bible. And she said that, I don't think that that's right. And, that's not what I would really want for you. But I'm praying for you. And I said, Mother, the only thing you have to pray for is my happiness. That's it. She said, I know, but I'm praying for you. I said, no stipulations behind the prayer for happiness. Just pray that I am happy. Period. It took me a long time to discover myself. Like, I went through a point where I was super angry at my mom. and like we got this super, super, super big fight, and I went to a different place mentally, and I tried to commit suicide.
Mm-hmm.
And it actually started a depression that I just got out of. Like April 1st, I can say, is the day that my depression ended. From 2010.
Wow. And that's because of the lack of support? Or?
It started from the lack of acceptance for who I wanted to be, and then grew with me not being able to find a job in my field after graduation. And it was like super intense between 2013 and 2017. I was having my stomach pumped, although when you think of having your stomach pumped, it's not like sometimes they do put a pump in there and they take it out. They had me drink this charcoal and I had to just pass it. But I was in the hospital for like a good week. I eventually lost track of the days because there was no windows anywhere. But because of that fight, that I didn't feel like my mom accepted me. I felt like she didn't understand me. I felt like she wanted me to be something else. While I was in the hospital, they wouldn't let me out until I saw the psychiatrist. Psychologist?
You're supposed to.
One of those. I can never tell them apart. But when I was talking to him, he was like, "Why'd you do this? That's stupid." Like, he made me feel like an idiot for having attempted suicide. And I don't really talk about it a lot. Like, I don't talk about the fact that I did that. But one thing that I'm learning is the more I talk about it, the more I'm okay with what happened, and I can move past it. But when he made me feel like that really set in the fact that I was depressed, and then like I said, it only intensified when I got the job at the call center, and that was my first experience speaking to a professional, and the second experience was after one of my breakdowns. They said you need to call the EAP line, and the EAP, which is Employee Assistance Program. A lot of jobs have that for people who may feel overwhelmed, suffer from depression, anything like that. My second experience was with that psychiatrist, and she had a different approach. She did diagnose me with general depression, and she was like, the best way to combat that is to get more rest and get outside of your mind. Because I'm a workaholic. Mm-hmm. So like, when I wasn't at the call center, I was doing a photo shoot, and then I was doing multiple photo shoots, and then I would spend time editing that. And then I would work on websites for my clients, and I would work on logos and just anything so that I could keep my mind off of whatever I happened to be thinking about at that time, whether it's a relationship, family, work, anything. And I'd be up till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Luckily, I didn't have to be at work till like 12 or 1 sometimes. So that was okay, but it wasn't, because the more it was on my mind, the deeper and deeper I got. So everything that we talked about, it helped me, but I held a lot back because I didn't trust the process, which is one big mistake that a lot of people make when they go talk to a professional, is they don't trust the process. You know, they have after that initial meeting, they have a plan for you. And they don't want you to be hurting. They don't want you to hurt. The psychiatrist, that second psychiatrist, I didn't tell her. I never told her. She asked. And the reason I didn't say it is because I was afraid that I was going to be put in an insane asylum, and or they were going to like put me back in the hospital or something like that, and I didn't want that. So, but that's not what's going to happen. They're going to develop the plan based around that.
So you would do you encourage people to get away from that stigma of therapy?
Oh yes! First of all, therapists go to school for that many years for the reason to help you. And if you feel like your therapist isn't helping you, you can leave. Like, they cannot keep you there. I wasn't open to it because I was afraid of being judged. I was afraid that if somebody found out I was going to a psychiatrist, or somebody found out why I was going to a psychiatrist, they would look at me differently, and they would think, oh, well, I don't want to work with him. I don't want him to do this shoot for me. He's not mentally stable. He can't handle this. And so I wasn't able to push past that until I realized people don't matter. Only I matter. Like, it's literally for everybody. Like, there's a lot of stigma behind talking to a professional in the Black community, just in general. They say go to church. Well, church don't work for me because I don't trust them. You know? Because the people in the church know my grandmother and my mama and my cousins and all of them. And they're going to tell them my business because they're not bound to keeping the secret. I talked through it with her, and then I talked through it with partners, and I talked through it with myself, and I talked through it with friends, and then it was slow, it was steady, but I got to a place where I was happy. I got to a place where I could say, okay, I don't have those thoughts anymore. I have other thoughts now. I have thoughts that I want to live. I have thoughts where, I want to create. Memphis was there for me, and they have a really big gay community, but the gay community doesn't look like me.
I see.
Like,
what does it look like in Memphis?
The gay community that you'll see is Caucasian or those with less melanin. And I only say that because it was more than just white people in that community. But that community as a whole, like, they didn't accept me. Because I'm not, like, with the Black community. Black gay people, and not all, like, I'm not going to just put this umbrella, this blanket over every Black gay person. The ones that I've experienced. I'm not a thug. I'm not, like, this super feminine guy. I'm, like, somewhere in between. And, like, it's like you either have to be this or you have to be that. Because if you're not this or you're not that, then you don't matter to them. Drag is an art form. I got to be somebody else. Like, my drag persona's name is Miss Simone. That's her short name, because her full name is Simone Couture Lacroix. When Miss Simone stepped on the stage, she was the shit. She was there to give you a show, to be sexy, and to get away from LaRue's problems. Simone was not depressed. Simone was not shy. She was not anything like LaRue. She still isn't. She's alive. She's just asleep. She's been asleep since I've been here. I'm a gay man, but I'm queer in every sense. And I think of queer as being weird. I own the word weird. People think of it as something that's negative. No, you want to be weird, because if you're not weird, then you're just bland-ass gray paint on the wall. Atlanta has been an experience. Living here has been an experience. I'm safe. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not committing crimes. I'm not out there hoeing. Okay? I wake up. I go to work. I come home. I spend time with my boyfriend, who's the reason I'm learning sign language. So,
does he know sign language?
He's deaf.
He's deaf.
He's deaf.
Okay.
There's this little invention called Jacked. It's like a social networking app for the gays. Basically, it's if you want to hook up, you get on Jacked. Now, people are on there to actually make friends or find relationships, which is what it's made for. But mostly, it's people who just want to hook up.
It's a Tinder.
It's the Tinder. Well, it's one of the Tinders for the gays. I started asking him questions. What kind of music do you like? What kind of movies do you like? Just things like that. Things that, like, do you like to sing? Do you like to dance? Things that require you to listen, require you to be able to hear in a certain way. And he told me, I've never heard music. So the first time we met, again, I didn't know any sign language. So I'm texting on my phone, pass it to him. He texts, pass it to me. day number 2, like the second time that we met, I had already been on YouTube looking at videos of how to do the basics. Hello, goodbye, how are you, nice to meet you, who, what, when, where, why, like all of that. And so then when we met up, I started doing it and he was like, whoa, wow. And I was like, yeah, I'm a little something. And don't ask me to sign right now because it's going to be jacked up, okay, because I'm nervous. But
you can spell your name, right?
Yeah, LARUE. And then my sign name is the letter L, and then I'm taking the picture.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's gotta be, so you must have to video call if you call.
Yeah.
And then you text.
We video call, text, or he'll call through the interpreter service. Yeah. So it'll be a video call for him with the interpreter, and then the interpreter will be talking to me on the phone. Mm-hmm.
I had no idea that even existed.
Yeah.
Third party conversation.
Like, what if I want to talk dirty?
Yeah.
But I don't.
You should try it.
No, they're so embarrassed.
See how far they go.
Started photography in 2013. And it was like, Mom, I want a camera. And she was like, what do you want a camera for? Like, what kind of camera do you want? It literally went from why to what am I getting you to how are you going to use it. This shoot specifically, this was a contest called the Fashion Battle in Memphis, Tennessee. It's a 3-hour contest. And
you said 3 in sign language.
Yeah. It's a habit now. Because this is W.
Yeah.
Okay, don't get it twisted. And this is F. So it's a 3-hour battle. You have 3 hours to style, shoot, and edit 2 pictures. Your product is 2 pictures. So in that 3-hour time frame, the models got their hair done, makeup done, and styling. We did that in the first hour. And I had a hairstylist, a makeup artist, and a wardrobe stylist. And then the second hour we shot, and then the third hour I edited. So if you book me for a shoot, then you either come up with the concept or you have me come up with the concept. And usually people want me, they want my eye. So if you want my eye, I like skin, I like motion, I like beauty, I like people to glow. So like for this one, I let the wardrobe stylist kind of lead the charge. We had to have 2 models, which is why I have 2 models. She kind of led the charge. And then from there, it was, well, how do I want my lighting? Okay, well, how do we want the hair? Well, how do we want the makeup? How do I want the models' attitudes? And being that I have a background in coaching models for runway and posing them and all that stuff, this just came easy. I don't believe you dress as something. You just put on clothes. Clothing is clothing. It's not made. It's made for body types, not made for people.
So, say someone is 15, 16. Say someone's 18, 19. Say someone is in their early 20s and they identify as queer, or maybe they don't know how to identify, and they're suicidal. If you had 15 minutes in their ear, what would you say to them? What would you want them to know?
Ooh, you just put a lot on me, baby. I would spend the first 5 minutes hugging them. Because everybody needs a hug. I would spend the next 5 minutes telling them that it's okay to have those thoughts. Because your thoughts are your own, so own them. I would tell them in the next 2 minutes that life is hard as a motherfucker. And that's okay. Because if life wasn't hard, you wouldn't have anything to live for. If life wasn't hard, you wouldn't be able to say, I'm sad, or I'm happy, or I'm mad, or I'm confused, or I'm lost. I need help. I don't want your help. I need your help. You wouldn't be able to say that if life wasn't hard. And I would spend the last 3 minutes giving them another hug. Because again, everybody needs a hug. Because people don't understand the power of a hug. And I learned this working in that call center. Because everybody told me I gave the best hugs. What happens is you transfer energy with a person. So if you hug somebody that you don't really vibe with, or that you just can feel they have bad energy, but you still allow them into that space, their bad energy is now on you. But if you hug somebody that you know or that you feel has the power to change a life, it may not be your life, it may not be anybody that you will ever know life, but you allow that person into that space, you can feel that love is possible, that life is possible, that life will get better. Talk about your feelings, because that's the easiest way to work through something. You know, feelings are scary. Feelings are really, really scary, but just talk about it. You know, start where it began and work through it, and make sure it's somebody who you feel isn't going to judge you. If you don't talk about it, then it festers. It's like mold on bread. You know, you see one spot of mold and you ignore it. Next thing you know, the entire loaf is gone. But if you take that piece of mold or take that piece of bread out of the loaf, then the rest of it is still good. Well, you can find me on the corner. No, I'm just kidding. You won't find me on the corner. You can find me on Facebook. It's LaRue C Photography. That's my Facebook fan page. My website is LaRueC.com, and you can book a shoot there. Instagram is LaRue C _photography. Twitter is at Call Me Gilmore. And you can follow me on Snapchat at Runway Authority.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Hell yeah. It was super fun.
Okay, where's my latte? I'm just